Hi guys, Jessica here from the Healing Hands Duo, and today I'm actually just doing a kind of get ready with me because I actually have been away from doing uploads on YouTube and all that, and I had been mentioning a lot of this on my Instagram account as well as Facebook that I haven't been feeling the best for the last month, and I think I attribute a lot of that to running myself really into the ground, because what ends up happening is when I get my head set on something, and right now my head was set on just reorganizing my house and getting all my stuff done for the spring, because it is spring here now. So I was getting all my stuff done outside. I was working myself all hours of the night trying to get YouTube videos filmed and edited, as well as I've been working on my business. So I kind of ran myself into a bit of a flare. And for any of you guys that have been following me here on YouTube, you know that I have Crohn's colitis, and I have been very symptom free for a couple of years now. And I have been managing it without any medication, and a lot of that management is through proper nutrition, energy work. I do a little bit of yoga meditation every day, and as well as being a little bit active. However, unfortunately, I had steered away from doing any of that stuff for the last couple of months. I would say about 6 months, because I've been working so hard on starting up my business, and I have been making myself sick. I want to be really transparent with you guys and really real, and a lot of you guys keep saying that I've been inspiring you and that this is great and all that, but I do want to let you guys know that if you guys decide to run yourself into the ground, there is a way that you can always revert back into things like flares and stuff like that. And I wouldn't say that this is a full-on flare. However, I have been having mucus, diarrhea, and a bit of blood. So I have been very concerned about it for the last couple of weeks. However, it was getting better, because about a month ago, I decided to take some time off from all social media, and I started getting back into a proper routine. So what I really wanted to make this video about, and I know it's going to be fairly long, is I just kind of wanted to show you some of the things that I've been doing to kind of bring myself back out of this place. When I first wake up, the first thing I usually start with is my supplements that I need to take on an empty stomach, and these consist of Ceregold. Ceregold is a proteolytic enzyme that will help to combat biofilms, inflammation, and damaged tissue. The next supplement I grab for is my probiotic, and over the years I've been able to take various types of bacteria, but that was all due to my progressive gut healing, and depending on where you're currently at in your healing journey, you may not be able to take a lot of them. So in this case, I will list down below to a few different companies that seem to be easy on the gut, but if you need to take just a single strain to start out with, you might want to try Lactobacillus acidophilus. The third thing I grab for is my fulvic minerals complex, since minerals are much more important in many cases than vitamins and much more difficult to acquire from your food. However, this supplement is extremely potent, as is the Ceregold, so please do be very careful when taking these supplements, and regardless of what the recommended doses or dosages are on the bottles, you might want to start off with less than that. The next thing I usually grab for is a full glass of good quality filtered, structured, or deuterium depleted water. And most of you are probably asking yourself right now, what the heck is structured or deuterium depleted water? Because water is just water, right? No, it's not. And Kevin and I will be discussing the importance of water and how important it is for your healing in the weeks to come. Unfortunately, I can't get into that in this video because that's a subject all to itself, but like I said before, please like and subscribe to this channel, and we will be discussing this in the next few weeks. Next, I head outside, and in the direction of the sun, I usually close my eyes and look up in its direction for 5 to 10 minutes. This is called sunning your eyes and is commonly done during the Bates method. This simple exercise will help to improve your visual acuity, color perception, strengthen the eyes, release eye tension, improve blood flow, and most importantly, it can speed healing by helping to balance your circadian rhythms. For more information on this, look up blue light toxicity, Jack Kruse's work, or our latest video, Your Environment Drives Your Nutrition. Next, Kevin and I like to do some mindfulness practices like breathing techniques followed by some meditation. I usually like to start my day off with 10 sun salutations followed by Kriya Yoga Pranayama techniques for about 20 to 30 minutes. If you could take your practice outside, that would be even better because then you can do your sunning at the same time. Please, people, do not ignore the power of light exercise and learning how to manage your breath and your mind, as many illnesses, in my experience, are derived from stress or deep-seated emotional traumas, or at least there's a connection there. I also work with a spiritual healer on a regular basis, in which I will forever be indebted to because she has been absolutely amazing to me and has done so much for me over the last couple of years of my life. Susan, thank you so much for being not only an amazing spiritual guide, but an amazing friend and someone who has helped me so deeply throughout the years. If any of you are interested in consulting with Susan directly, I will link down below to all of her information. Much of our pain and suffering can be alleviated by getting rid of old, deep-seated emotional traumas and energy blocks throughout the body. Now it's time to get something into my stomach, and because I'm in an active flare, I usually like to start my day off with some bone broth, which is full of natural collagen, amino acids, protein, and glutamine, all of which will help to heal and seal your gut. I'll link below to a concentrate I've been taking lately. However, I've just started this one, so I'm not sure how it's going to work out, but so far I'm really liking it and I've been taking it for a couple weeks. Drinking bone broth first thing in the morning will help to stave off hunger, while also allowing you to stay in an intermittent fast until your next meal of the day, and will substitute any morning caffeinated drink like tea or coffee, which unfortunately is a definite no-no when in an active flare. While I'm sipping on my bone broth, I usually like to take this time to check my emails and other social media accounts. However, make note of the glasses that I'm wearing here while I'm looking at my computer screen. These glasses are actually called blue blockers, and they have a yellow tinge to them. There are other ones that are fully red, and those will block out both green and blue and are used for after dark, but these can be used during the day. This will help to protect your eyes. We go through the importance of why you need to protect your eyes from blue light devices in our last video, which I will post here on the screen somewhere, and I will link down to below. Next, I like to jump into the shower. Even if you work from home like we currently do, it's probably always best to make sure you get showered and dressed to start off your day. It'll also give you the opportunity to practice some light cold thermogenesis, which is taking a hot shower followed by putting the water to as cold as you possibly can at the end of the shower for about 1 to 2 minutes. The benefits of fluctuating your body temperature are vast, but to name a few, it'll help to reboot your immune system, ward off inflammation, increase your HGH or human growth hormones naturally for full healing and repair, and it is also a great practice for anti-aging benefits, as well as helping to combat a slew of other aches, pains, and illnesses. Some people even opt to dunk themselves in freezing cold bath water with ice, but I'm just not there yet. Alternatively, you can use what is called a cryosauna if there is a clinic or studio that has one available in your area. Now it's time to get to work, or at least go about your daily chores. If you can stay away from blue light and non-native EMF wireless devices for the better portion of the day, then that would be best. However, not all of us can do that. In which case, Kevin and I will be discussing the damaging effects of both blue light and wireless devices in some later videos. But just know that these bands of light and invincible fields can really wreak havoc on your body at a deep cellular level, and especially while you're trying to heal the body. However, just to give you some tips and tricks right now, these are some of the precautions that you can take in order to protect yourself. Number 1, you can keep your cell phone on airplane mode until you actually need it. Number 2, use old-fashioned plugged-in computers or laptops. Whatever you do, do not use cordless phones with docking stations within your home. Get rid of them and try and get back into using wired corded phones. You can carry a personal non-native EMF protection device like a Blue Shield, and yes, this one really does work. You can either buy your own personal device or a plug-in for your home. Apply blue light filters or apps to all of your devices like Flux. You'll also want to either turn your Wi-Fi off at night or turn it off indefinitely. We do not have Wi-Fi in our home, and every single one of our devices are good old-fashioned plugged back into the wall. There's plenty more that you can do, and like I've said before, Kevin and I will be getting into this in the weeks to come. Now it's time for brunch, or lunch, or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, before I do that, about 15 minutes before my first solid meal of the day is usually where I like to take my lipospheric vitamin C and vitamin B. 15 minutes later, during my meal, I will also take some liquid zeolites to help my body better eliminate any toxins that may be in the food, as well as heal my gut. If my bowels are really acting up, I like to keep my meals as simple as possible. So usually I'll have some sunny side up eggs with a side of clean turkey bacon without any fillers, because I'm not very fond of pork. However, some people could substitute pork. The reason why you'll want to eat eggs runny is because cooking the yolk all the way through damages the protein and can really denature the yolk where most of the nutrition is found. So again, keep them sunny side up or over easy. If your flare isn't as bad, you may try some almond flour pancakes several days later. But this will not work for everyone in an active flare, so some people may need to stay far away from eating any nuts and seeds during active flares. I'll also link to a basic pancake recipe that I've tried down below. However, if neither of these foods work for you, then there are no rules about eating things like plain chicken or fish for breakfast with some squash or some other overly cooked vegetable side. It's whatever works for you, but just don't have too many expectations for what you'll be able to eat in an active flare. Instead, think of food as simply nourishment for the body, and if it has to be plain for right now, then so be it, so long as it makes you feel better, because your health is so much more important than a craving. During a flare, I find it best to actually eat smaller meals throughout the day, so I will in fact snack once I stop my intermittent fast. So intermittent fasting is keeping your eating window from 8 to 10 hours. Some people like to do 6, I like to do approximately 8 hours, and then staying away from food for approximately, I believe, 14 to 16 hours. So I will have little snacks throughout the day, but I will try to keep them as light as possible. For instance, I will have some applesauce or some baked squash or even some homemade yogurt that I make out of coconut milk. And that will pretty much be the gist of my snacking throughout the day. Once my flare isn't as bad, then I will progress and possibly have an apple so long as it's been peeled back with some almond butter. At some point throughout the day, I think it's important to take breaks and go for a short walk. When I was working in an office a few years back, I used to do this during my lunch hour. However, now that I'm at home, I tend to neglect my walks a little bit more lately. So what I will do sometimes is get in the car and go over to the grocery store and walk around there so that I could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. However, if I don't have the time to go over to the grocery store or go for a quick walk, then what I'll do is just head on downstairs to my studio and do 15 to 20 minutes on my chi machine, so that I could get some more aerobic activity into my day. The next thing that I usually do is I jump into my Super Sauna Photon Genius and I do a 20 to 30 minute session, and I will alter between my Super Sauna Photon Genius and my Genie. Again, the reason why I opened up a business with both of these machines is because they have been so imperative to my healing. And when I'm in a flare, I make sure to get in there every day or to do a session on the Genie every other day. So I alter between the 2 machines. And again, if you've never tried these types of healing modalities, please do find a practitioner or a studio facilitator within your area and give them a go. Again, if you can't find these 2 machines in particular, what my machines incorporate is light therapy. You're doing near, mid, and far infrared heat. You're also incorporating frequency therapies like things like Rife. Some people might see some progress doing PEMF therapy, or you also want to look for, and I think this is probably the most important of all of them, is to actually make sure that you are getting administered some type of ozone. For instance, I offer here transdermal ozone. Other people will do insufflation of ozone, or some others will either do some type of an intravenous ozone. There has been plenty of research to suggest that ozone in particular is very beneficial for those suffering with things like Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, as well as other inflammatory conditions or things that can cause inflammatory conditions like parasitic or bacterial infections like Lyme disease. Now it's time to sit down for some dinner, and about 15 minutes before I sit down for my last meal of the day, I take some more lipospheric vitamin C. I'll take another packet. Sometimes I like to work my way up to taking 6,000 milligrams a day if I'm not feeling well at all, but right now I'm only at 2,000. I do not take more vitamin B at this point, but I do take some more liquid zeolites. However, I want to pre-warn all of you guys right now, liquid zeolites, if you've never taken them, they are very potent, especially the Pure Body Balance ones that I carry, and you may have to start off with 1 drop for each of your meals, even though the bottle suggests that you take 4. So again, please be very careful with any of these binding agents that will bind to things like heavy metals or herbicides or pesticides within the body. On to the meal. I again will have another meal that consists of some type of animal-based protein and some nearly boiled vegetables and squash. Alternately, I'll sometimes just have some chicken soup for dinner. And that will be the last meal of the day. Ideally, I find it best not to eat anything past 7:30 at night, because if I do, I can have some stomach pain throughout the night or fevers or have to run off to the bathroom. So it is best to start or stop eating at 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. This will also allow you to get into an intermittent fast successfully. Again, intermittent fasting will help speed up the repair and recovery process, as well as give your digestive system the much needed break that it needs from food. Now it's time to sit down and relax, watch some TV, surf the internet, sit outside, go for a walk, or whatever I'm going to do for that evening. But if I'm going to be doing it under artificial light, I just need to be sure to be wearing my blue blockers. At this point, if it is past dark, and in most cases it will be, or it'll be getting to that point, you want to actually convert your blue blockers from the amber ones to the red ones at nighttime, so that you're blocking out all blue as well as all green light. And as you can see here, I've got a visual of Kevin wearing his beautiful blue blockers. These are not very stylish. However, they do have a lot more fancy ones available now. However, these were really cheap welding glasses that Kevin picked up on Amazon. And the reason why you'll want to wear full blue blockers at this time of the day is because you want to make sure that your eyes are sending the appropriate signals to your brain to start producing melatonin for a proper sleep cycle. Because as we all know, if you're not sleeping properly, then your body is not repairing either. About an hour before bed, I really like to take an Epsom salt bath. I just recently found a wonderful pair of lovely ladies at a local wellness convention, and they were selling these amazing bath bombs infused with CBD and THC. And I have never had such a relaxing bath in my entire life. If you are interested in their products, I will link to them down below. However, if you don't have the availability of CBD and THC products within your area or state, or they haven't been legalized yet, because I know a lot of the states is still waiting for legalization on them, then an Epsom salt bath will have to do, and it'll still infuse you with some much needed magnesium, which many of us who have chronic diarrhea or pain are usually severely low on this important mineral. It may help to relieve some tension, pain, and get you relaxed just in time for bed. 15 to 20 minutes before bed, and this is entirely based on how I feel for that day. But if my flare is very severe and I'm having a lot of pain at this point, then what I like to do normally is I like to vape some medicinal marijuana. Again, I know this may not be available to everyone based on where you currently live. However, we are in Canada and medical marijuana is legalized here, and it is absolutely by far the best natural painkiller that I have ever tried. It also will help with anxiety, depression, and sleep, so long as you know which work best for you. For more information, talk to your local dispensary or a cannabis clinic professional. I also take hemp seed oil or CBD oil throughout the day with each of my meals. Instead of staring at a blue light device right before bed, I like to read a book somewhere quietly before it's time to go to sleep, because electronics too close to bedtime can be overly stimulating and really alter your circadian biology. Now it's time to go to bed, because restorative sleep is where your body will do most of its healing. Good night, everyone, and I hope these steps help you just as much as they've helped me. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.